Hey there, friends, imagine this. You pour your heart, soul, and every late night into a company that feels like family. Then one day, your boss's daughter points a finger, calls your hard work outdated and slow, and just like that, you're escorted out the door with nothing but a cardboard box and a shattered sense of loyalty. What would you do? Would you walk away broken, or would you rise up and hit back in the only way that truly matters? Stick with me until the end of this story, because today we're diving into one man's incredible journey from devastating betrayal to freezing a $3 billion logistics empire in its tracks. If you've ever been underestimated, undervalued, or outright fired for simply caring too much, this one's for you. Do me a huge favor right now. Hit that like button if you believe in second chances, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss these powerful, real-feeling stories that remind us we're stronger than our worst days. Meet Alex Rivera. At 34, Alex wasn't just another cog in the machine at Titan Logistics. He was the heartbeat. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood where his single mother drove a delivery truck to keep food on the table, Alex had logistics in his blood. He understood the rhythm of trucks rolling through rain-soaked nights, the panic of delayed shipments that could sink small businesses, and the quiet pride of getting it right. 15 years ago, he started at Titan as a junior systems analyst, fresh out of community college with nothing but determination and a second-hand laptop. By the time the company had grown into a $3 billion giant moving goods across continents, Alex had become their unsung hero. He modernized outdated tracking software on his own time, saved them millions in lost cargo, and trained dozens of younger employees who looked up to him like a big brother. But the company's top floor lived in a different world. CEO Richard Harrington was old school, silver-haired, golf-obsessed, and convinced that tradition trumped technology. His daughter, Brooke Harrington, 28 and freshly graduated with a business degree paid for by the empire, had just been handed the title of operations director. Brooke was sharp, ambitious, and completely out of touch with the gritty reality of the warehouses and truck yards. She wanted flash, sleek apps, influencer marketing, and quick wins to impress the board. What she didn't want was Alex quietly pointing out that her flashy ideas ignored the backbone of the operation: reliable, battle-tested systems that kept millions of dollars moving every single day. The tension had been building for months. Alex had gently warned Brooke that rushing a complete overhaul without testing could create dangerous bottlenecks. She dismissed him publicly in meetings, rolling her eyes and muttering about boomers who refused to evolve. Alex wasn't old, he was experienced. He had lost sleep perfecting algorithms that predicted weather delays and optimized routes in real time. His own daughter, little Sophie, age 7, would sometimes fall asleep on the couch waiting for Daddy to finish one more line of code so they could read bedtime stories together. After his wife passed away from cancer 3 years earlier, those quiet moments with Sophie were everything to him. The job at Titan wasn't just a paycheck. It was the promise he made to his late wife that Sophie would never know the instability he grew up with. Then came the day that changed everything. A massive winter storm was barreling toward the Midwest hubs. Alex's predictive system flagged it early and rerouted dozens of critical shipments. Brooke, eager to prove herself, overruled him and pushed a new, streamlined, protocol she had designed without full testing. The result: 27 trucks stranded, perishable goods ruined, and angry clients threatening to pull contracts worth tens of millions. In the emergency board meeting, Brooke stood tall in her designer suit and declared, "This is exactly why we need to get rid of the outdated and slow thinking holding us back." She looked straight at Alex. Her father, protective and embarrassed, nodded along. Security was called before Alex could even defend the years of data proving his system had saved the company countless times before. The firing was swift and humiliating. Alex was marched through the open plan office where colleagues he had mentored watched in stunned silence. One young warehouse coordinator, Marcus, cheered up as he helped carry Alex's box to the parking lot. "You were the only one who ever listened to us down here," Marcus whispered. Alex drove home in a daze, the radio playing some upbeat song that felt like a cruel joke. Sophie ran to greet him at the door like always, but when she saw his face, her little smile faded. "Daddy, are you okay?" she asked, clutching her favorite stuffed truck. That night, Alex sat on the edge of her bed fighting back tears as he read her a story, wondering how he would explain to his daughter that doing the right thing could cost you everything. The weeks that followed were pure darkness. Job applications went unanswered. Titan's influence loomed large in the industry. Savings dwindled. Nights were filled with anxiety about rent and Sophie's upcoming school fees. Friends offered condolences, but the loneliness cut deep. Alex replayed every meeting in his head, wondering if he should have been quieter, more political. But deep down, he knew the truth. The company had grown complacent at the top, and the people who actually moved the freight, the drivers, loaders, and coordinators, were being sacrificed for optics. One sleepless night, fueled by hurt and a fierce protective love for his daughter and the colleagues he left behind, Alex made a decision. He wasn't going to beg for his job back. He was going to show them exactly how fragile their empire had become without the foundation he had helped build. Years earlier, as a safeguard against total system failure, Alex had quietly developed a proprietary kill switch protocol, an emergency lockdown sequence embedded deep in the central logistics platform. It was never meant for revenge. It was designed to protect the company from cyber threats or catastrophic errors. Only Alex knew the full scope because he had coded most of it himself during long nights when no one else cared. He didn't destroy anything. That wasn't who he was. Instead, on a quiet Tuesday morning, Alex activated a carefully timed sequence from his home laptop. The empire froze, not in chaos, but in perfect, controlled stillness. Shipments halted at optimal safe points. Tracking systems displayed calm status messages. Client portals showed polite delays with explanations. But nothing moved. For 48 hours, the $3 billion machine simply stopped. Boardrooms erupted. Phones rang off the hook. Brooks' new protocols crumbled under the weight of reality, exposing how dependent the flashy surface was on the deep, reliable code Alex had maintained. Richard Harrington personally called Alex on the third day, voice shaking with a mix of rage and desperation. "What have you done?" Alex replied calmly, "I showed you what outdated and slow really looks like when the heart of the operation is removed." He didn't gloat. He laid out the terms, not for money or reinstatement, but for change. Independent audits, better pay and respect for frontline workers, a voice for experienced employees in big decisions, and most importantly, a public acknowledgement that loyalty and competence mattered more than nepotism. The company blinked. They had no choice. Within weeks, Alex was brought back as chief technology architect with real authority. Brooke was reassigned to a learning role under mentorship, a humbling but necessary step that eventually helped her grow into someone who listened. Marcus and the warehouse teams received the recognition and raises they deserved. Sophie watched her dad return home smiling again, the weight lifted from his shoulders. But the real victory wasn't the return or the revenge. It was the lesson Alex carried forward. He started mentoring young professionals outside Titan, sharing his story at industry conferences. He told them that being underestimated hurts, but it can also reveal your true power. That protecting what matters, your family, your principles, your colleagues, is worth every risk. And that sometimes the most powerful response to injustice isn't anger, but quiet, unbreakable competence. If Alex's journey from heartbreak to freezing a billion-dollar empire taught us anything, it's this: never let them convince you that your dedication is outdated. The world needs more people who care deeply, who build things that last, and who refuse to stay silent when the system forgets the humans behind the machines. Your story might not involve logistics or boardrooms, but whatever challenge you're facing right now, being overlooked at work, struggling as a parent, or just trying to hold on to hope, remember Alex. Rise with integrity. Build your own foundation. And when the time comes, the world will have no choice but to notice. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own fight, please smash that like button and subscribe for more real, emotional stories that matter. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been fired unfairly? What did you do next? I read every single one. Turn on notifications so we can keep growing this community of resilient dreamers together. Until next time, keep moving forward. You've got more power than you know. See you in the next one.